biker who has a massive following, called the film 2 hours and like 10 minutes of fuck Israel the entire time, a sentiment echoed across social media on opening weekend. However, the film's timeline might not align with Israel as a stand-in for Bavaria. Gunn turned in his script on May 2023, months before the current Israel-Gaza conflict escalated. Yeah, except it was an ongoing incident, and it hasn't started on October 7. It was definitely a thing that was existing far before October 7, and not only that, but also, you can still add, you can still make tweaks on the villainous character after you have put the script in. It's not like an unchanging situation. Yeah. Also, Bavaria existed in the comics before Israel was a state. Also, Brittany Broski had David Cornswet on, and I'm feeling like maybe I could do that too, but I don't know. I feel like I might be too a little bit too controversial for Hollywood still at this stage, especially given, I say Bavaria, sorry, Boravia, especially given my current takes. Anyway, bro, he's a gamer, he'll never come on. A little too spicy. No shot you could get him. Technically lives in PA with his wife and daughter. Superman's probably not allowed to take any non-exclusive stances, even good ones. Hasan is too ambitious. I love that. I mean, I don't think it's that ambitious. I think if you don't step on any landmines, you can do that. But I like that in the process of me going through this story, I revealed that like I turned down an opportunity to be paid more than David Cornswet for 1 day of work. And you're still in here being like, nah, dude, you're just ambitious like that. No, I don't think so. I think we live in a very different age now where streamers do have fucking motion. And I was wrong. You know, podcasters and streamers, we got motion. For sure. Sounds like magnitude bias, maybe. Did you say Atriarch X Lena Khan podcast? No, I didn't say that. I don't know why you keep saying I said that, but I'm glad that the Lena Khan went on the pod. Gunn says in this video from yesterday that some of the movie is now more relevant than when he wrote it.
Things in the world today in reality. In fact, a few things that are more like the world today than when we made the movie 2 years ago. But it really was all from a storytelling perspective of what would Superman...
I wonder what he could be referencing when he says that. I mean, it could literally... It's perfect, though. It's a perfect statement because he could just literally be like, oh, Superman's an immigrant. And this administration is anti-immigrant. And it's very obvious, like, this is Superman getting attacked relentlessly about anti-immigrant. He could say it about Ukraine and Russia if he wanted to, but we know what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down, big dog, okay? Also, it is pretty funny. I'm just realizing at this moment, and maybe it's because I'm stupid and I didn't realize it, but like, it's pretty funny that his character on Creature Commandos is a self-insert. Like, he just made himself like super hot and brolic in Creature Commandos. Like, the main character in Creature Commandos is literally him. Like, the same hair and everything. Hashtag the gun is aimed at Israel. We're all hashtag reloading the gun. Isn't James Gunn a pedophile? I saw his tweets. Are we really doing this still? Like, who is still doing this in 2025? Who the fuck is still doing this in 2025? It's like, I don't like, this is the one guy. This is the lonely Japanese Imperial Army soldier holding on to the notion that the Philippines is Japanese territory still. It's a Japanese colony 30 years after the war ended, okay? He's like, nah, dude, I live for this shit, okay? You don't understand. This motherfucker made edgy tweets that were like, this motherfucker was tweeting in 2009. Way that I don't like it. That says a lot about him today. Oh God, here we go. Here we fucking go. Right on the dot. Right on the dot. Little baby F. We're good. We're gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. Calm down, folks. We're back already. We're back already. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up, folks. But yeah. Bro, it's literally Rick Flag Sr., not fucking James Gunn. I think he made himself. I think he just like made the hair like that. I just feel like it's a self-insert a little bit. But yeah, we got Trump Epstein stuff, which we're going to be talking about today, considering that Trump seemingly doesn't want to let this go. Congress wants vets to swear an oath they won't commit suicide. That'll make the suicide rates of veterans drop down to zero. For sure. But yeah, we got the New York Times is insane reporting on the Arizona primary, which was so stupid. But before we do all of that, obviously, there are a couple truths. There are a couple things that are always going to happen in the world. Okay? There are a couple things that are always going to happen. The world is going to keep turning. Okay? The sun's going to come up every morning. And Israel's going to bomb yet another country. Okay? They have to do it. If Israel doesn't bomb another neighboring country, they will literally explode. Do you want Israel to explode? It is really fucked up. This is just a thing Israel has to do. Do you understand? Yeah. The only things that are certain in life are death, taxes, and Israel fucking up a neighboring country. It has to happen. And yet, of course, because it has to happen, it happened again. Israel is striking Syria's capital, Damascus. Your latest YouTube thumbnail, Lex Shapiro hates Superman. Super woke sucks. That's funny. Yes. If Israel's hatred drops below 80%, it'll blow up. Yeah. You don't understand. You don't understand. Israel has to blow up neighboring countries. What the fuck? You're being anti-Semitic. You are being anti-Semitic if you don't think Israel has to blow up other countries, okay? They have to.
We have some breaking news this morning. In Syria, there are some strikes by Israel because there were attacks in that northern...
Dude, this is so funny. This is so funny that they're just like trying to contextualize it immediately. And they're like, there were some attacks, I think. I don't fucking know. Whatever. Israel's blowing up another country. If you ever say anything about it, you're fucking anti-Semitic. Shut up.
Region, that northern border region, and Israel's not going to stand for it. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, just a little bit ago at the State Department said, guys, maybe you want to back off, tamp it down a little bit. But this is a unfolding situation and some breaking news, and that's why Trey Yingst is going to join us from Tel Aviv for an update. Good morning, Trey.
Yeah, hey, Dana, good morning. All of these Israeli strikes taking place in response to violence that is erupting in the Sweda province of southern Syria. There is a Druze population in southern Syria that is supported by the Israeli government. So when violence erupted there earlier this week, the Israelis began to carry out a series of airstrikes against Syrian government tanks that were approaching the city. There was concern that they would participate in the fighting that was being done between the Druze and a Syrian Sunni Bedouin tribe. Now, as this was erupting, there were warnings and conversations taking place with Israeli officials using back channels to speak with the Syrian government, telling them not to enter the Sweda province because it could be a threat not only to Israel as these forces got closer to Israeli territory, but also to the Druze minority population there. Whenever the government forces continued forward,
Where have I heard this song and dance before? Using an ethnic minority and protecting an ethnic minority in the region as a reasoning for why you must bomb another country. I mean, this is just fucking big nation shit, okay? Russia being like, we have to protect the ethnic Russians in Ukraine. America will be like, it's even more laughable. America will be like, oh, we love the Kurds. We need to help the Kurds develop a nation state. Oops, just kidding. We actually don't want to do that. We just want to weaponize Kurdish militias in the region against anyone that we feel is not fully on board and fully invested in what's going on with our agenda. And of course, Israel is using the Druze. Now, this doesn't mean that all Druze people in like Syria are anti-HDS. This doesn't even mean that HDS is good. You know, I'm not a fan of the former Al-Qaeda leader turned into institution defender himself. Okay, but it is kind of crazy that Jelani is basically doing everything he fucking can. The bizarre part of the story is that the violence against the Druze is primarily by other actors, not the government. Israel is using flimsy excuses of protecting ethnic minorities just to carve up southern Syria. The arrogance to tell a sovereign state that they can't deploy their own army in their own borders is just insane. Is it insane, or are you anti-Semitic? Is it insane, or is this Jew hatred? Okay, that's the question you must be asking yourself right now. And the answer always is you hate Israel and you hate Jewish people. That's probably the reason. Israel should be able to bomb a sovereign country whenever they see fit by using flimsy excuses. Okay? Excuse me. Hello? Am Israel high? Calm down. It's for democracy. Now, this is an incredibly fucked up situation because, as I've explained over and over again, like Syria is currently being picked apart by two American allies. From the northern side, you have Turkey and Turkish control. Turkey is a major player in this. Turkey played a major role in overthrowing Assad, right? And then Israel is coming in from the south. They both have ambitions of maintaining control over it. Turkey obviously is a regional power as well as Israel is. And they have their own ambitions. They have their own motivations here. And they're kind of at odds with one another, even though they're both America's lapdogs in the region. So I guess after spending years and years of defending ISIS-style forces in Syria, the Al-Nusra Front, for example, Israel has decided this is the one former Al-Qaeda guy that they do not like, in spite of the reality that Jelani has done everything in his power to basically be as servile as he fucking possibly can be to Israel's interests. Okay? They're intercepting weapons transfers to Hezbollah. They're literally, they're doing everything. Israel destroyed the Syrian military, okay? As soon as HTS came into power, they said, please, sir, please bomb all of our fucking military equipment. It's okay. They didn't say shit. They literally have been running around. HTS has been fucking running around being like, how much more can we do for you, sir? Okay? How much more can we do for you, Israel? We love you. Here's Charles Lister, who obviously I like to hear from when it's anything related not to Syria, but here he is talking about Syria. I won't go so far as to say he's a little bit in the tank for HTS. In 7 months, Israel's done the following in Syria: 987 air and artillery strikes, 421 ground incursions, occupied 180 square kilometers of land. In response, the Syrian government has done 0 attacks, filed 2 UN Security Council complaints, seized 49 Hezbollah weapon shipments headed to Lebanon. HTS also shuttered any sort of pro-Palestinian operation in Syria. There were still some nascent groups that were aligned or were directly that had like Palestinians in them in Syria. HTS shut them up, shut them down. Most Druze leadership in the city are with HTS on this. Israel is arming the Syrian version of Abu Shabab al-Hajri, except he already has more influence, so it's more devastating to do separation and stuff. So Israel can do divide and conquer and unleash division. Yeah, from what I understand, outside of all the Druze sects, there's like one guy that Israel is tapped in with. And of course, they're using that one fucking group to be like, oh, you're attacking our big, beautiful Druze population, and we really care about them. And that's why we have to bomb you. Druze leader Walid Jumblat, Israel is using some Druze figures to stir unrest in Syria under the guise of protecting Druze communities. Classic shit, classic divide and conquer shit. And it's crazy because like Jolani, also known as Zelensky, okay? I mean, he did everything. He shaved, he put the fatigues on, he put the suit and tie on. He was like, I am your most loyal servant, Western Empire. I will do everything for you. Like, can we please, I'll build a Trump Tower in Damascus. Like, fuck it. Whatever you want. Okay? He did literally everything. And Israel still is like, well, you do have land that we want. As a Druze myself, gay, so not really, I guess. We are so easily influenced, it's disappointing. I mean, it's not even like, this is not about the Druze and their interest in like emancipation or anything like that. Okay, please. Like America's involvement with the Kurdish militias does not have like a real emancipatory goal. They just want to use the Kurds, and then they will literally write them off instantly and will tell the Turks to do whatever the fuck they want in Kurdish villages. Saying it's land that Israel wants is anti-Semitic. They have a right to it. Oh, fuck, you're right. It's Greater Israel. You know? So, and they already have given land, for the record. They have already given land to Israel. Like, Israel is already occupying Syrian territory beyond Golan Heights. Ironically, where Zelensky is from. Houthi official on the idea of bombing of Damascus. We do not distribute baklava to gloat over those who gloated over our bombardment, for our compass is firmly set towards the true enemy of the nation, Israel. Toward it, we direct our missiles, to strike its depths and shatter its expansionist delusions. So, yeah. What happened is, and I gave you guys like, a more in-depth analysis on this, but like the Syrian civil war is incredibly complicated in some ways, because like it's incredibly complicated, but like almost every single faction, with the exception of Assad, Russia, and Iran, and obviously the IRGC plus Hezbollah, every single side in the Syrian civil war, except for these four that I'm mentioning, is in some way, shape, or form tied back to America, either by way of Israel or directly, ISIS and ISIS-style groups in the region, or Turkey, okay? Which is America's NATO ally and has played a very important role in the destabilization of Syria, and then also the overtaking of the thwarting of the Assad government. So basically, Assad is also tied by way of Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, I guess, kind of. Assad does have American government involvement as well, technically, if you think about Tulsi Gabbard and her role in this. But ultimately, it's a conflict where like America has basically funded all sides, including warring factions, right? Because on the one hand, America, by way of the CIA, and has directly offered logistical help and weapons to the Kurdish militias in Rojava, right? And those guys have been directly in conflict with the Turkish mobilization in Syria. The Free Syrian Army, backed by the Turkish government, that gets training from the Turkish government, NATO ally, remember, is a brigade, is basically like a brigade of different Salafist militias from all around the world, from Turkic nations all the way to Xinjiang, right? They have Uyghurs in there as well. If you ever see like a Chinese dude throwing up the Allahu Akbar, just know that that's like a Turkish-backed militia group. Some of them will then join ISIS as well. It's really interesting. But regardless, like you have an eclectic group of what you would consider like what Americans think are like jihadis that are under the banner of the Turkish mobilization in Syria. And those guys are constantly fighting with the Kurdish militias as well, because Turkey wants to wipe out and maintain control over any sort of Kurdish territory in Syria. That's their national security concern. So like they're literally fighting amongst themselves, but both sides are fucking funded by America. Both sides are being trained by America, either by way of Turkey or directly being trained by the United States of America. So then you have that. And on the other hand, you have obviously ISIS, which is, this terror cell that seemingly never attacks Israel and only kills Muslims. Weirdly enough, okay? Don't know what that's about. I'm not going to point any fingers here. Has the American forces actually defended ISIS at times? Yes. Has Israel defended ISIS at times in Syria? Yes, they have. But they also fight ISIS all the time. Not Israel. Israel doesn't fight ISIS. They've apologized for killing ISIS soldiers on accident. But the American government will use the Kurdish militias to fight against ISIS in Syria. So then you have that. Okay. But how do you explain the discrepancy in how you always rightfully compartmentalize Hezbollah's horrific slaughters of Syrian children versus their participation in the acts of resistance against Israel, and understandably never care to mention the many crimes before every statement involving them, but you always seem so obsessively to do that with Jelani? You have said that you are not pro-Assad, but I'm not sure you are anti-Assad at this point. I'm anti-Israel, unconditionally, which is precisely the reason why I will explain Hezbollah's military actions in Syria and then simultaneously still say that like Hezbollah is a militant group that now has a party in the Lebanese parliament that was created as a defensive posture for the Shia population in Lebanon, but also primarily the only military formation against Israel in Lebanon. So that's the reason why I don't have that same kind of, I have more of an interest in compartmentalizing Hezbollah as opposed to HTS or Jelani. But if you might have noticed, I'm not attacking Jelani all that much currently, because despite the fact that Jelani has done everything to be a dog of the West, Israel is still fucking up the bag for them. Part of the reason why Israel is, doing this, of course, is because this is against Turkish incursion in Syria. They don't want Turkey to have too much influence in Syria. Assad isn't Shia, by the way. He's Alawi. No, I know. I'm not. I didn't say he's Shia. Also, I'm Sunni. What are we talking about? I have no allegiance to. I have no allegiance to the fucking Shias by religion at all. I don't give a shit. So there are a lot of groups that did horrible shit in Syria that are now in charge. And they're openly stating that, at least right now, that they are on board with like Israel. They're on board with America. They just want like Syria to be able to develop. And Israel seemingly has different opinions. Israel seemingly does not think that is where this conflict should head. Israel has different ambitions here. In the past 24 hours, Israel's bombed scores of sites across Syria, reportedly including the Ministry of Defense, Army General Command, and the presidential palace. Now Israeli cabinet ministers are openly threatening to assassinate Syria's new leader, al-Shara. Ben-Gvir says Israel must eliminate Syria's Shara over violence against the Druze. Since Assad's downfall, Israel hasn't just been relentlessly bombing what's left of Syria's military and strategic infrastructure, it's been steadily seizing territory, using the chaos to advance its long-standing ambitions. Assad's successor, al-Shara, a former al-Qaeda and ISIS commander, rose to power through quiet coordination between Turkish, Gulf, and Western intelligence services. This is correct. Sina Tusi is right on this. He was repackaged from terrorist to politician with promises of economic backing and diplomatic legitimacy. And if you recall, when this happened, I told you I am not pro-Assad by any metric, okay? He was incredibly weak and incredibly cruel. Having said that, however, that people were desperate for change and they thought that this would bring that change that they wanted. I thought that this would lead to more instability. I thought that the American-backed forces here would probably have to play a role. Would probably reinstate the same ethnic tensions in Syria, and the sectarian violence would most likely continue. And if it doesn't continue, they would do their very best to try to further try to further fucking attack Syria. I do find it somewhat interesting that Israel never really did this while Assad was in power. By the way, just pointing that out, kind of interesting that, this was not like this level of incursion never took place when Assad was in power. So I wonder what that's about. Perhaps has a lot to do with his weakness as well. And Russia too, certainly. Never to this degree. Never to this degree. Never to this degree. They didn't want to mess with the line of Damascus, or maybe the line of Damascus by way of Russia had communiques with the Israeli state to a certain degree. Perhaps. Just saying. Because, Russia is also an interesting power player in this region. It's a regional actor, as you guys know, but it's also one that is deeply tied to Israel by way of population. There's a fuck ton of Russians in Israel. Vladimir Putin literally said, what did he say when Israel was striking Iran? He was like, striking back at Israel would be like striking back at Russia or something along those lines, where it's like there is a massive amount of Russians that have Israeli citizenship. Many oligarchs use Israel as a way. Many Russian oligarchs use Israel